When Dimebag Darrell was killed on stage in front of his fans, it abruptly brought an end to a rock star who was excited to let bygones be bygones and move forward in new and exciting creative directions. In 2003, Dimebag Darrell Abbott and his brother and Pantera bandmate Vinnie Paul formed a new band called New Found Power. They recruited ex-Halford guitarist Patrick Lachman as their lead singer and Bob Zilla as their bassist, and eventually renamed the band Damageplan. Then in February 2004, they released their debut album, which was titled New Found Power after their original name. It peaked at number 38 on the Billboard 200, although the critical reviews were merely okay. Blabbermouth, for one, gave it a decent 7 out of 10 score, while also damning Lachman with faint praise, declaring, "He's a generic metal vocalist, and even though this is not Pantera, he's still indirectly following a frontman who had so much personality that half his problem was not knowing what to do with it." Regardless of the reception, Dimebag and Paul were excited to move forward after the end of their old band.
Me and Dime were definitely in it for the long haul.
On April 5, 2004, Damageplan was playing a show in Columbus, Ohio, when a fan named Nathan Gale jumped on stage during the performance. This led to a scuffle with security guards, while Gale ended up destroying about $1,800 worth of amplifiers. As a band technician recalled, he latched onto the equipment because he didn't want to leave. Meanwhile, another audience member named Billy Clark recounted, "Whatever he was planning to do, he didn't get a chance to do. The whole time I saw him, he was being subdued." Despite all the chaos, Damageplan continued performing without interruption, with Patrick Lachman reportedly quipping at one point, "I'd like to introduce you to the 5th member of the band." The band chose not to press charges against Gale, while order was quickly restored during the gig. That gig in Columbus was just one of many shows Damageplan played throughout 2004 as they relentlessly toured in support of their album, with a total of 112 shows across 3 tours. In addition to playing tracks from New Found Power, they also performed the occasional cover, usually tipping their hat to Pantera, while also honoring fellow rock acts like Ted Nugent and Kiss. They also shared the stage with other metal heavyweights of the era, including Slayer, The Haunted, and Shadows Fall. In the decades since, fans have continued to share their cherished memories of Damageplan's live performances. As one person wrote on Reddit, "Damageplan is criminally underrated. I saw them live 3 times, and I'll tell you right now, what made 2004 so special in Dimebag's career was that it was the first time since he got super famous that you could go see Dimebag do a full 5-minute guitar solo live in concert." Others have fondly recalled how the band, and Dimebag in particular, weren't above interacting with their fans. As one of them put it, "It always makes me sad now thinking about how close we were and how trusting they were of their fans. I was so close I could set my purse on the stage. They loved their fans so damn much." On the surface, it seems like Dimebag Darrell was happy with the way things were going with Damageplan. He certainly said as much during an interview with Guitar.com as he talked in depth about his new band and how thankful he was for the support from fans. As he put it, "I wasn't sure if there was going to be a backlash and everybody shouting Pantera. But that wasn't the case at all, man. Everybody knows what happened. Everybody knows the whole scoop. And they know me and Vinnie Paul never turned our backs on them. And they're there for us, man."
Just wanted to bust it open a little bit more and just broaden it up, go for the Baskin-Robbins, 31 flavors instead of the 1, you know what I mean?
Although Dimebag stressed that he still thought very highly about his time in Pantera, he also admitted it felt like too much of a routine and that he was just mailing in performances. He added that he loved playing longer sets with Damageplan and having more freedom to get creative on stage. As he explained, "There's a lot of things that we've been cut loose with, that we're able to do with Damageplan that we weren't able to do with Pantera. We just think the fans deserve their money's worth." Despite Dimebag's public positivity while talking about his new band, it apparently wasn't all sunshine and rainbows behind the scenes. In 2008, his longtime girlfriend Rita Haney told Guitar World that he was reaching his breaking point with Patrick Lachman over Lachman's reluctance to perform Pantera songs. As she recalled, "I remember in his final days, Darrell was calling me a lot, and he told me that he didn't know what to do about Pat Lachman. Pat said that he didn't want to sing any Pantera songs, but he knew what he was getting into when he joined the band." Haney had similar things to say during an appearance on the Talk To Me podcast in 2017, as she revealed, "Pat had already been causing issues, and there were problems. I have several voice messages from Darrell that I still have of things that he left and was telling me about the things Pat was doing out there. And he was like, 'Man, I don't want to work with this dude. I want to fire him.'" In addition to refusing to play Pantera songs, Haney also claimed that Lachman repeatedly put off writing lyrics for some songs that Dimebag had sent him. She also expressed hope that the surviving members of Pantera would get past their differences and get to work on those unfinished tracks. Considering Dimebag Darrell's issues with Patrick Lockman, it should come as no surprise to learn that he was possibly considering a reunion with the band that put him on the map. In a 2017 interview with Overdrive, Rita Haney revealed that a reunion of the classic Pantera lineup could have been a legitimate possibility if her boyfriend was still alive. As she put it, "I know how forgiving Darrell was, and those guys would have resolved their issues. If anyone was able to bring people back together and fix things, it was Darrell. He was that type of person that would really get bothered if there was something not right and would have to get to the bottom of it to solve it, to make things better again."
Here we are with Side Core, man, you know.
According to Haney, Dimebag might have already been taking the first few steps toward a reunion, as he and Pantera bassist Rex Brown spoke on the phone on August 20th, 2004, which was Dimebag's 38th birthday. As Haney noted, he wasn't happy with the way things were going with Damageplan already, and in his heart, it was always Pantera. That's all he knew, and it was always going to be that way. By late 2004, it had been about a year since Dimebag confirmed that Pantera was no more. Considering the acrimonious nature of the split, frontman Phil Anselmo was eager to set the record straight during an interview with Metal Hammer. However, he did more than just refute Dimebag and Vinnie Paul's claims that he left Pantera without giving proper notice. He also accused the guitarist of having a drinking problem and said there was never a point when he could not get drunk, which was pretty much every day. And now I'm hearing it's worse than ever. He deserves to be beaten severely.
I remember Dime going, dude, this ain't funny anymore. This is not funny. What have I ever done to that guy to deserve this?
Anselmo quickly backpedaled on that comment though, clarifying that he didn't actually have any intention of attacking Dimebag, but the damage had already been done. His remarks intensified his feud with Vinnie Paul, who went so far as to tell Revolver in April 2006 that Anselmo's interview could have potentially motivated the man who killed his brother. Paul added that there was no way that Anselmo was misquoted as he claimed, as he had audio files of the interview. As he put it, "Anyone that wants to hear them, I'll be happy to play them for you." So he ought to feel really guilty any way you slice it. The late Eddie Van Halen influenced countless rock guitarists with his innovative techniques. Dimebag Darrell was one of those budding axemen who grew up idolizing the guitar god, and even after he became a successful musician in his own right, he continued to listen to Van Halen's licks for inspiration before going on stage. But it wasn't until 2004 that he finally got to meet his hero. It all went down at a Van Halen concert in Midland, Texas, with Eddie doing everything he could to make the Abbott brothers feel welcome as the band's special guests. As Vinnie Paul recalled, Eddie sent a limo to pick us up, which was very cool. And we came in, and he brought us right up on stage and hung out at soundcheck and everything. And the show was amazing. Paul also shared an anecdote that now carries extra poignance, considering what later happened to his brother, as he revealed, "We got on the plane, and when we were flying back to Dallas, my brother looked at me, and he goes, 'Man, you know what? If this plane was to go down in a crash right now, I'd be okay with it. I finally got to meet the dude that made me want to play guitar. It was really special.'" At first glance, Damageplan's December 8, 2004 show at the Alrosa Villa nightclub in Columbus, Ohio seemed like a routine gig, with an audience of about 250 and local bands serving as support acts. It was one of the last remaining dates they had for the year before heading home for Christmas, so Dimebag and Vinnie Paul were feeling especially stoked. As was their custom, the brothers high-fived each other and said Van Halen, which was their code word for having a good time. As it turned out, those would be the last words that Darrell said before Nathan Gale fatally shot him during the show. Gale was reportedly acting strangely as he loitered outside the club during the local band's sets and was later asked to leave the premises. But instead of doing that, he jumped a fence and snuck into the venue and then opened fire about 90 seconds into Damageplan's first song.
I just remember screaming, "He's shooting something," and Vinny came off the drum riser and he's coming at me and he's going, "He just shot my brother, he shot my brother."
Gale was a former Marine and Pantera fan who reportedly blamed Darrell for the band's breakup. He also killed 3 other people that day: Damageplan crew member Jeff Mayhem Thompson, Alrosa Villa employee Aaron Hawk, and audience member Nathan Bray. He was holding another man hostage at gunpoint when Columbus police officer James Negemeyer arrived on the scene and fired at him, killing him instantly. A number of prominent rock musicians were present at Dimebag Darrell's funeral, including Eddie Van Halen, Alice in Chains guitarist Jerry Cantrell, Slipknot members Corey Taylor, Jim Root, and Paul Gray, and Black Label Society singer-guitarist Zakk Wylde. Most of Dimebag's former Pantera and Damageplan bandmates were also in attendance, but there was one who was conspicuously absent, Phil Anselmo, who was reportedly banned from attending the service and other tribute events.
I sat in a hotel room for 5 days, waiting, sending message after message.
The Pantera frontman released a statement a few days later, saying that he understood why Dimebag's loved ones chose to ban him from the funeral. He also spoke of loving him like a brother and feeling the same way about Vinnie Paul. As he put it, "I'm so sorry to his family. I want to say bless his family and all of his close friends. I wish his family the least grief they could ever have, and I know it's impossible." Unfortunately, Anselmo and Vinnie Paul remained on poor terms with each other until the latter's death in 2018. But then in an unexpected turn of events, Pantera reunited for the first time in almost 2 decades in 2022, with a touring lineup that included Anselmo on vocals, Rex Brown on bass, Zakk Wylde on guitar, and Anthrax's Charlie Benante on drums. The reunion has earned mixed reactions from fans. While some believe that the lineup is Pantera in name only without Darrell and Vinnie, others have praised Anselmo and Brown for keeping the Abbott brothers' legacy alive with 2 respected veterans filling their shoes.